Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Something huge is happening in the crypto space right now, and it's actually revolutionary. I mean, this is a game-changing cryptocurrency launch that if you haven't heard about it yet, you need to hear about this. All right, it's called PulseChain, obviously. It's what we've all been focused on over the past 7 days here. And I'm going to explain to you in this video all of the PulseChain statistics that you need to be aware of, because a lot of people are wondering, was the launch successful? Was it not? I'll lead you to make your own conclusion about that after I give you all the data and all the facts, and you'll be fully educated by the end of this video to decide whether or not you want to participate in the PulseChain and HEX ecosystem, or if you want to sit on the sidelines, maybe continue to be a hater. That's fine. You're totally entitled to your opinion. But I'm going to walk through the on-chain metrics that are pretty much all indicating that PulseChain is a massive success. I'm going to prove to you why. Because when it comes to blockchain technology, you cannot ignore on-chain verifiable data. And I'll walk through some websites that you're going to want to know about. Make sure to bookmark certain websites, some projects, some really cool stuff that people are building within the ecosystem. Not a bunch of meme coins, right? Serious projects. And of course, at the end of this video, if you stick around till the end, I'll go over some strategies that you could potentially use to make money on PulseChain, to make money on HEX. Some new strategies that might not be around for very long because it's still so early, okay? But you don't have to rush to do anything. Just calm down, take a deep breath, take a step back, and let's just look and analyze the chart and the ecosystem and where it's going so far. So everything is going amazingly, in my humble opinion. We can look at dexscreener.com. They've been very supportive of the PulseChain ecosystem. Shout out to dexscreener.com. If you don't have this website bookmarked, you're going to want to bookmark it. This is going to be your hub to see all of the PulseX pairs. So for those that don't know, PulseChain is the blockchain itself. PulseX is the exchange that lives on the blockchain, the decentralized exchange. We call that a DEX for short. And then HEX is the store of value that lives on top of the PulseChain network. So PulseX and HEX are two coins that live on top of the PulseChain network. But the PulseChain network has a native coin called PLS, which is the coin that people use to pay for gas transactions. That might be rudimentary knowledge to some of you, but if you're new here, you're going to want to get familiar with the way that blockchain networks work. So PulseChain is one network, Ethereum is another network, and what PulseChain is, why it's so revolutionary, is it's simply a copy of Ethereum. It does everything Ethereum can do, but it's cheaper and faster. And the main problem, as we all know, with Ethereum is that the gas fees are way too high, okay? It costs you anywhere from $50 to $200 to perform any operation, a swap, a send, whatever it might be, over on the Ethereum blockchain right now. It's really disgusting, and it's pricing out all kinds of new users. So to get real adoption, to get crypto into the hands of the masses, we need a blockchain that's accessible for everybody, and that's what PulseChain is going to be. Obviously, it's brand new, so there's some kinks that need to be worked out. Nothing is perfect on day one. But if we look at all the metrics like we see on Dex Screener right now, we can already see some incredibly bullish metrics. Just take a look at the screen in front of you, okay? The 24-hour volume on the PulseX exchange, remember the decentralized exchange on PulseChain, has $108 million of 24-hour volume alone. That's crazy for a blockchain that people are just learning about, that people are trying to bridge into, but maybe having a hard time even getting into it. The line is essentially out the door, metaphorically, for PulseChain, okay? Tons of money is lined up at the door, and of the money that's already in the ecosystem, there's been $108 million of trading volume. Guys, we're ahead of Solana, Avalanche, Optimism, Polygon. And if you look at the ranking over here on the left-hand side, PulseChain is actually at number 4 when it comes to on-chain activity. That's activity that can't be faked and lied about. Not centralized exchange, fake metrics, because we all know they like to inflate their volume and their trading data and their metrics to make them look better. You can't lie on the blockchain, okay? So we care more about decentralized exchange, volume, and transactions than anything else as a metric for are people actually using this blockchain. $108 million of volume and 168,000 transactions in the last hour, okay? In the last hour alone. Let's take a look at Arbitrum, all right? Technically, we have more transactions than Arbitrum, but this ranking is based off a factor of the volume and the transactions in the past 24 hours. So we're just barely behind Arbitrum, likely because their volume is a bit higher. And the only ones to beat after this are Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum, all right? Now, Ethereum has been the player in the space for 8 years already. It's the dominant blockchain. But what PulseChain is actually doing is it's helping to take off some of the load. It's splitting the load of Ethereum and copying everybody's coins onto the PulseChain network. So if you didn't know this already, PulseChain is actually the world's biggest airdrop, and you might have free coins on the network right now. Yeah, I'll say that again. You might literally have free coins sitting waiting for you in PulseChain right now because PulseChain was a system state copy. That means, when the blockchain forked off of Ethereum, PulseChain copied everybody's wallet balances, everybody's tokens, and it's really incredible. So you're going to want to at least check out if you've got free tokens over on the PulseChain network, right? Let's say you held Shiba coin, Shiba Inu, right? Well, if you held that on Ethereum 2 weeks ago, congratulations, you now have all of those same coins copied over onto a new network, and they might actually be worth something, right? If you're a Shiba holder, let's go over to PulseChain again. Look, your Shiba's worth some dollar value over on PulseChain, and you can trade that for whatever other coins you want, PLS, PulseX, HEX, whatever you want to trade it for. You have a copy of all of your coins, so go check it out. Really, guys, do not sleep on PulseChain. You might not like the founder. You might have heard some FUD or read a poorly researched article, or you might have listened to your favorite fake guru online pretending that they know all the answers. If anybody's ignoring this, guys, if anybody's ignoring the elephant in the room right now, you should probably unfollow them. They're not worth listening to. This is the thing that's happening right now in crypto. As you could tell, I'm very excited about it. But I'm also very serious, okay? I'm very serious. A lot of money will be made by the patient holders that get into this ecosystem early and wait, 2, 3, 4 years. Because like I always say, long-term holders win in crypto and short-term day traders always get wrecked. You're not smarter than the market, and time in the market beats time in the market. I always try to drill that point home, especially to new people coming in. Don't try to rush in here and be a day trader. Be calm about your decisions, be slow and cool and collected, and make the right calls, and you could be very, very rich in the future. I mean, this could be the opportunity of a lifetime for you if you play it right. And if you play it wrong, you could lose all your money. I'm dead serious, so listen very carefully, okay? Let's get back to the statistics. PulseChain with $108 million of volume, 168K transactions, puts it at rank 4 out of all these blockchains. Look, there's like 60 plus blockchains over here. And PulseChain, in a matter of 1 week, is at number 4 in terms of ranking by on-chain trading volume and transactions. On-chain, can't lie about it. Guys, it's been the most anticipated crypto launch of the last 2 years. People have been waiting for this thing for 2 years, and it's finally out. And it's only been out for 7 days. So I cannot stress how bullish that makes me personally. I don't know how you feel about it, but after 7 days, okay, to be number 4 ranking and have $100 million of activity going on and a ton of transactions going on, guys, you don't want to miss out on this. People are getting involved right now, and it's only a week old, right? And typically, people that get in early on crypto projects that hold for the long term, that don't shoot themselves in the foot by doing something dumb or making a bad trade, they typically do very, very well. I'm a perfect example, and I know thousands of other people like myself that did the same thing, that got rich from things like HEX and staking, making a staking ladder for the long term. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. It's all about PulseChain, okay? Let's check out the metrics. Let's check out some of the top trading pairs, all right? The PulseX Pulse trading pair is already at $119 million of liquidity, all right? It's insane, right? And you could either sort by transactions here, which some people like to do to find the most quote-unquote popular pairs, but I also like to sort by liquidity on DEX Screener, okay? So I sort by liquidity to see which pairs are the most mature and which pairs are the most buyable and sellable. Like if I sell $10,000 into a pair with $100 million of liquidity, that's fine. That's going to be okay. But if I'm trying to buy or sell $10,000 into a pair that's only got $60,000 of liquidity, I'm going to get a really bad deal due to something called slippage, all right? That's a technical term. I'm not going to get into what slippage means, but basically, if you're trying to buy in or buy out of a really thin liquidity pair, make sure you take a look at this metric before you're buying and selling. Because if you want to spend, let's say, $1,000, but your liquidity pair only has $20,000, it's going to probably not work out so well. But if you want to put $1,000 into a liquidity pair with $5 million of liquidity, like the HEX HEX pair, for example, it's probably going to work out a lot better. So I like to sort by liquidity. That's just a hot tip, all right? The PulseX PLS pair, the HEX PLS pair, and the HEX HEX pair currently have the top liquidity. And some runners up are Incentive Token paired with Pulse, Incentive Token paired with PulseX, and all these coins. You can read them for yourself. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you my potential strategies when it comes to liquidity farming, but then I'm going to also tell you whether or not that's actually a good idea for you personally. And again, it's totally up to you to make your own decisions in this space. But just wanted to point out the highly bullish volume and say shout out to dexscreener.com for aggregating all this information. You're going to want to bookmark this page and make sure that you're referencing all these different pairs when it comes to trading volume. Let's drill into the PLSX PLS pair, all right? Let's just take a look at the price chart on here. The price chart is going up and to the right so far, all right? But if we switch to the price in PLSX, we could actually see that the ratio of pulse to pulse X is about 1 to 0.3, okay? And if you do the inverse of that, what's 1 over 0.3? It's about 1 PLS to 3.33 pulse X. So for every 3.33 pulse X, you can buy essentially 1 PLS. That's how the ratios work. This is very interesting to me. I was expecting to see, maybe a lot of people dumping their pulse X for PulseChain, but it seems like some savvy investors are actually taking the opposite route and buying into pulse X at a dip. And what do I mean by a dip? Guys, let's go to a website that you need to know about. You need to bookmark this website too. It's called plsburn.com. This website just keeps getting better every day. It provides really useful information for myself and for everybody when you want to know about the top coins on PulseX, what are the prices, what are all the statistics, okay? The coin PLS alone in the past week has shot up to 0.000195. And guys, just for a rough reference point, you need to know that people that got into the sacrifice phase for both Pulse and PulseX, they got roughly, without any bonuses, there were volume bonuses, but we're not going to count that. They got roughly a price of 0.0001 USD per pulse and 0.0001 USD per pulse X. Okay, so the people that bought Pulse in the sacrifice phase, they're almost doubled up on their money. And you can even see this little thing down here, 1.95 times sacrifice. So you're almost at a 2x already in a week on your PulseChain. And we'll see how that plays out. It might go higher, but short-term people could take profit as well. Now PulseX, this is currently sitting at 0.00006. So that's about 40% below the price of PulseX at the sacrifice. And so what I think a lot of people have been doing, the smart people, the smart money, are identifying this opportunity and they're thinking to themselves, if you believe that one PulseX is worth at least 0.0001, at least, because that's, the price that the sacrificers got in at. Well, if you believe that, if you believe the PulseX price can easily bounce back to that, then you're looking at an easy 40% returns on the table right now for PulseX, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. So people that are buying the dip right now are actually getting a 40% better rate than people that got in super early in the sacrifice phase for PulseX. And people that got into Pulse, they kind of already doubled their money. So I'm sure they're all very happy. I'm definitely very happy. INC token, this one has blown me away, guys. INC token is the reward coin that you get for providing liquidity on certain pairs on the PulseX DEX, on the PulseX exchange, okay? I thought INC was going to be kind of a permanent dump coin, but I have been proven wrong by the market, which is always very humbling. But my God, guys, INC is at $24 today. 3 days ago, it was at $8, all right? So this coin has just been skyrocketing. I'm really happy that I do have a liquidity position open. I'll tell you what that is at the end, all right? But I've been accruing some INC and essentially making $100 a day for the past 2 days. It's pretty remarkable, maybe even more, because I haven't really checked with the prices again, Last time I checked, INC was $15, so probably made even more than that in the past couple days. Pretty interesting, pretty compelling right now to be a liquidity provider in the PulseChain network. And finally, we've got HEX. This is the HEX that's native to the PulseChain blockchain. I want to clarify things for the new people here, okay? A lot of people online are shouting, oh, look at HEX, it dips, 50% or whatever. And they're making all these false accusations that, HEX is dead or HEX died. They have no idea what they're talking about, okay? What's happening on PulseChain is essentially a stock split event or similar to that, right? Because now everyone that was holding HEX on the Ethereum network has an identical copy, a clone of that HEX on the PulseChain network. Same exact smart contract, same exact code, 2 versions of the same coin. And that's hard for people to comprehend because, frankly, this has never been done in crypto history before. That's why PulseChain is so revolutionary, one of the reasons. But people now have 2 copies of their coin. So let's say HEX was worth 3 cents before the fork, which it was about. Well, after the fork, we now have to add up the value of both of our HEXs. And it turns out HEX on the Ethereum blockchain is still maintaining its 3.2 cents range, which is very remarkable to me. It's even gone up from 3 cents today, okay? So HEX on Ethereum has a different price than HEX on PulseChain, all right? Because there's 2 versions of essentially the same coin. The one on Ethereum is 3.2 cents, whereas the one on PulseChain is 2.1 cents. Now, if you believe that one day these coins will be at parity, meaning 1-to-1, meaning they should technically be the same value on both blockchains, if you believe that, well, here's another opportunity staring you right in the face, because if HEX is on 2 cents at PulseChain, but it really should be at 3.2 cents, that's a huge arbitrage difference that you can capitalize on if that's what you believe. Now, that's totally up to you, and you might not even believe that. And for all I know, they could just permanently have different prices. But I do believe that with liquidity bonding, I'm cautiously optimistic that HEX will eventually be 1-for-1 tied with its Ethereum counterpart. And just so you guys know the nomenclature, we now have to call HEX on Ethereum HEX, okay? And we call HEX on PulseChain the regular HEX, assuming our frame of reference is that we're on the PulseChain network. You can see that over here too on Dex Screener, right? You can see that this liquidity pair, for example, is the HEX to HEX liquidity pair. That means if you want to buy the Ethereum version of HEX using the PulseChain version of HEX, you can do that, or vice versa, on this liquidity pair. So we can see that, again, the PulseChain version of HEX is 2.3 cents, which is lower than the Ethereum version of HEX, which has somehow maintained a 3-cent mark. I actually am shocked by this. I thought that it was going to be the opposite, that people were going to dump their HEX more and buy up the price of PHEX, or HEX on PulseChain. And they haven't done that yet. Now, maybe this is just an opportunity waiting to be arbitraged back to 1-to-1, right? Maybe due to the fact that the bridge is a little slow right now, maybe this opportunity won't be around forever. So that's just a hot tip right there. It might not actually come to fruition. Again, anything could happen. But if you believe that HEX should be 1-to-1 as a ratio with its Ethereum counterpart version, well, that's another 50% return right on the table right here, potentially, right? And obviously, 50% is nothing when we're considering a 100x in the future, okay? In the long term, multiple x's of ROI are possible. Many multiples of ROI in crypto is possible, so don't be so concerned with a 40% or 50% move. I know it sounds crazy, but only in cryptocurrency can you literally get, a 60, 70x on your money, right? That's actually possible, and only in this asset class. Sounds crazy, but due to the liquidity, due to the novelty of everything, due to the fact that everyone wants to buy it, these things have happened quite frequently. They've happened before, and they're probably going to happen again on the PulseChain mainnet, all right? People are probably going to make hundreds of X's of returns in the next couple of years if they simply buy and hold the right coins. And again, don't try to be a day trader or do something stupid thinking that you're smarter than the market, because you're not, all right? Hate to break it to you, I'm not, and you're not either. So that's the prices, okay? That's only the prices alone. I already identified some opportunities for you, so hopefully you can take a look at that and think about what you might want to do. And let's talk about the bridge, all right? The bridge is what everyone's talking about. There's a lot of FUD about the bridge as well. Guys, the bridge is working perfectly fine. The bridge is how you get from Ethereum to PulseChain, okay? These are two separate networks, so you need a bridge to transfer coins from the Ethereum network to the PulseChain network. For example, that's how people are getting their Ethereum version of HEX over to the PulseChain network and then tying their liquidity together like we see right here, right? Like we see right here with the HEX pair. Look right here. That's how people are creating this pair. They're bridging HEX from Ethereum into PulseChain. How are they doing that? They're going to pulseramp.com. I'll try to put all the useful links in the description below. PulseRamp.com, otherwise known as bridge.pulsechain.com. This is the website where you're going to connect your wallet and transfer your coins, whether that's Ethereum, HEX, DAI, stablecoins, USDC, whatever. You can transfer from Ethereum to PulseChain. You can also go from PulseChain to Ethereum. It's not a one-way street, but once people are in the PulseChain network with way cheaper fees and faster transactions, chances are you're going to want to stick around in the network that is treating you better, essentially, right? Who wants to go pay $50 to swap when you can pay 50 cents to swap over on PulseChain? So that's where we're at with the bridge right now. As you can see, people are lined up out the door. You can imagine a long line to get into a nightclub that just opened. And right now, as we can see, $81 million are trying to cross the bridge. $81 million in stablecoins, HEX, and Ethereum, and some other things, okay? $81 million are trying to cross the bridge, and right now, it's only been 3 days, okay, since the bridge has been released. But right now, 40% of that, or $33 million, has been successfully bridged in. Now, the bridge is going slow because, quite frankly, it's never been under this much load before. The bridge protocol that PulseRamp.com is running off of is called Token Bridge, and a lot of other blockchains use this protocol as well. PulseChain decided to use this protocol because it was the safest one, it had never been hacked, and it's been working fine on the testnet for years, literal years. But I don't think anybody had any idea how much anticipation people were going to have for this chain and how much money people were going to try to flood into the market on day one of the bridge opening. So a lot of people are, complaining or scared maybe that their transactions aren't going through. Just be patient, guys. Just wait 1 or 2, maybe 3 more days, because we've gone from 10% processed to 40% processed in the past 2 days alone. So if it continues on this trajectory, we're probably going to get to fully synced on the bridge, in my estimations, within maybe 4 more days at the most, maybe 5, okay? So just wait a little bit. Your transactions aren't going anywhere. They're sitting in the bridge waiting to get confirmed by the bridge validators. All right, so that's what's happening with the bridge. Anybody trying to tell you an alternative story like the bridge doesn't work or the bridge is broken, they're also wrong. You got to stop listening to people that have no idea what they're talking about. The bridge is going just fine. It's just going very slowly because it's under so much load that it's never experienced before on any other blockchain. This bridge exists on other blockchains, but none of them have been as popular as the PulseChain network, right? And we could see here, we could see a breakdown of all this money. What are all these tokens flooding in? Well, all the HEX that's flooding in, there's about 734 million HEX waiting to get across the bridge, $20 million of DAI, $14 million of USDC, $10 million of USDT, and 6,000 to 7,000 Ethereum waiting to get across. And we could see that of this amount deposited, this many millions of dollars, $8 million of DAI has made it across. So you can read this for yourself. You don't need me to read the stats for you. But unfortunately with the bridge, we have to be patient and stick around till the end, because I'm going to talk about another bridge that's coming to PulseChain in a couple minutes that you need to know about. So stick around. There's another solution that's going to probably be potentially even better than PulseRamp.com. We're going to talk about it in 1 minute. Let's just scroll down and take a look at the validators, right? Guys, after 7 days of PulseChain's existence, 7 days, we've got 10,000 validators running. People don't realize what a big deal this is. This blockchain is already more decentralized than 90% of other blockchains out there. Let's look at Avalanche, for example, see how many validators they have. This blockchain's been out for years. It's got 1,200 validators. Guys, how ridiculous is that? We've got 10,000 validators waiting to decentralize the network in 7 days, okay? And look, 3,600 entering. So by the next couple of days, it'll be at least 13,000 validators. For a frame of reference, guys, Ethereum has about 200,000 validators. So if we keep on this trajectory, we could overtake the number of validators on Ethereum by the end of the year. That would be insane. And why are validators important? Guys, they help decentralize the network and they help process transactions, okay? So if you want to be a validator, you can go over to launchpad.pulsechain.com and you can see that validators right now are currently getting 32% APR paid in PLS coins for creating their validators and running their node. Now, the thing you got to know about validating is that you should really only do it if you have the money or the hardware to pay up front. So I paid about $2,000 for my hardware setup for running my validator, okay? That's an Intel NUC with a mini screen to look at what's happening and, a mouse and a keyboard and all that. So you're going to have a dedicated computer that's only for PulseChain validating, right? So this could cost you money if you don't already have a fully dedicated computer, and it might be too technical for people that aren't, tech savvy or computer savvy. But if you do want to participate, guys, there's a man named David Feeder who's running validatorstore.com, and he's selling validators pre-built for you. It's as easy as it can be. Not super easy, but he's making it as easy as possible for you at home to run a validator for the price of $2,000. Now, if you don't have that, don't worry. You're not missing out. You're probably just better off buying and holding the coins anyway, because you might not even be able to figure out how to get it working. It's not necessarily easy. But for people that are tech savvy, you might want to check out validatorstore.com and help decentralize the network, help process transactions, and get paid to do so, right? Get rewarded in a side stream of passive income paid out in PLS. So I think that's awesome. Extremely bullish from a technical perspective that we've got almost 13,000 validators already after day 7. I mean, look, if you don't want to call that a success, I don't know what you're going to call it. Gas prices right now, we've got the USD gas prices. To send PLS, it's 4 cents. To send a token, it's 28 cents. And to do a swap, it's about 65 cents. All right, compare that with $65 on the Ethereum blockchain. Literally, if you're trying to do a swap on the Ethereum blockchain today, trade one coin for another, you're going to be paying more than $50. It's really outrageous, and it just doesn't work for normal people like you and me. I've got money and I don't like paying that. I'd much rather be on a cheaper, faster blockchain. So that's plsburn.com. Make sure you bookmark plsburn.com if you want to keep an eye on all of these statistics, prices, bridge quality, validators, and gas. Moving on, you're going to obviously want to know about PulseX, the trading platform. I've gone over this ad nauseum in my previous videos, so just check out my channel, subscribe if you want to learn about PulseX. I've been running testnet tutorial videos on this for years, so literally years. But if you want to go here, this is where you trade coins, okay? This is where you swap one coin for another. Maybe you want to swap Pulse for PulseX. Maybe you want to swap HEX for incentive token. Maybe you want to swap fiat for USDC. Who knows, guys? And I'll go over fiat in a minute too. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you the projects and opportunities that I think are very interesting, and fiat is one of them. Fiat.io, P-H-I-A-T. We're going to get to that in 1 minute, all right? Now, a lot of people are having trouble on the blockchain right now to even getting PLS in the first place. They're having trouble even getting PLS to pay for gas fees. You might have some copied tokens. Remember, you might have held Shiba or HEX, for example, and now you have a copy, but you have no PLS to use for gas to send it anywhere, or to stake it, or to trade it, or whatever. So you could go to pls-faucet.com. This was created by a community member, and this guy is giving away 2,500 PLS, which is good for maybe, 10 or 20 transactions. And all you have to do is paste your address in the box below and click the CAPTCHA. Now, the catch here is that it's not always working, okay? It's only funded by the community. So a lot of people, as soon as it's funded, other people are rushing in to claim their free PLS for gas, and it runs out quite frequently. But another solution, if you need gas for transactions and you're waiting for your transaction on the bridge to get through, remember, a lot of people are stuck on this bridge and they don't have any PLS tokens at all, which you need to pay gas fees to do anything basic, like swapping or anything at all on the blockchain. So that's a problem a lot of people are having because they're stuck on the bridge and maybe this PLS faucet isn't working. Well, one other thing to keep an eye on is this guy named Dipcatcher, or at Tantonomini on Twitter. Make sure you follow this guy on Twitter, because what he just did yesterday, guys, literally yesterday, he ran a successful trustless Ethereum to PLS transaction, smart contract. No human beings involved. It's just code. And what it allowed people to do was trade Ethereum for PLS directly. And essentially, people traded a bunch of Ethereum for PLS. And they ended up getting not too bad of a deal, right? They ended up essentially effectively buying PLS directly to their wallets for roughly 0.00018 USD, if you consider the price of Ethereum at the time. And that's roughly what the price of PulseChain is today, right? PulseChain's a little bit higher than that today. So you might even get a deal over here. But this is a very interesting option, because what Dipcatcher did is he created this trustless smart contract, and he basically gave everybody 24 hours to put in either Ethereum or PLS on the other side for anybody that wanted to trade their ETH for PLS or trade their PLS for ETH. And remember, there's both parties. You might want to get PLS, but there's a lot of other people that might want to sell their PLS to you for Ethereum. So this is kind of like a trustless, over-the-counter OTC exchange or contract, right? And he's going to run another round of this. I don't know when, but you're going to want to follow him on Twitter to make sure that you know if you want to get PLS, or if you want to alternatively swap some PLS for Ethereum trustlessly. Well, it worked out well the first time, and the next round of this contract is going to go out probably in a matter of days. I'm not sure yet. Follow this guy on Twitter. He's a great guy. He's been in the community for a long time. He's made a lot of tools for HEX and for the PulseChain ecosystem, so he's very trustworthy. He's made Maximus token, pool parties, so many things for the community. He even made his own Dipcatcher trading algorithm. Make sure you follow this guy. Guys, he's not a scammer. All he wants to do is help the community, and he's going to tell you when the next round of the gas bridge is starting. Now, thanks for sticking around till the end, because I want to tell you guys about the projects that I'm very, very excited about in the near term. I mean, there's so much to cover. I can't possibly do it all in one video, but these are the projects that I think everybody should have their eye on when it comes to PulseChain, all right? One of them is Fiat.io. Fiat.io is a fork of the Aave protocol. Essentially, it lets you take out, it's a lending and borrowing platform that's fully decentralized with no middleman. So if you want to short HEX, if you hate HEX, you can short HEX here, okay? If you want to take out a loan, let's say in USDC, but you want to put up your Hedron coins as collateral, well, you can do that all from this platform. And this platform exists on the Ethereum blockchain, and it will soon exist on the PulseChain blockchain as well, probably in just a couple days or weeks. All right, this is what it looks like. You could put up liquidity, you can stake the fiat token. I'm not going to get into exactly how this protocol works, but you're going to want to keep an eye on this fiat protocol. This isn't a video about fiat, all right? Maybe that's coming later, but this is something to keep your eye on and something to read into the documentation to really, really understand how it works. Guys, really try to understand how this protocol works, because I think there's some opportunities here to make money, whether that's just staking the fiat token or potentially doing some borrowing and lending, if you're tech savvy enough, if you're financially savvy enough to do so. Not everybody should be doing this, but it might catch your interest, right? Aave was very, very successful on Ethereum, and this is a clone of Aave, but using, all the coins in the Richard Heart ecosystem. So keep your eye on this. Another thing, guys, privacy. Some people like privacy. I like privacy. A lot of people might not care about privacy, but I do, all right? And I want to make sure that there's a way for me to make my PLS tokens private, to maybe fund a private wallet so that nobody can track me back to my original source. All right, HurryCash is that solution, and it's live right now on ipfs.hurrycash.com. ipfs.hurrycash.com. I'll put the links all below. Guys, this is pretty cool. You can either select 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, or 10 million PulseChain tokens, PLS tokens, and you can deposit them into this contract, place the recipient address, the public address that you want to send the coins to anonymously. You put that here, and then you just wait. Now, unfortunately, this protocol right now doesn't have a lot of users yet. So the more users it has, the faster you'll be able to anonymize your transactions. But as you can see, I did a test transaction of 10,000 PLS, and I put it in this HurryCash smart contract. And I need all these dots to essentially fill up, and only 3 of them have lit up over the past day and a half, I believe. So the more users that it has, the faster things will be able to get across anonymously. But this is how you privatize your transactions, if that's something that's interesting to you. For people that don't know, this is a fork of Tornado Cash, okay? Obviously for research purposes only. But I want people to have this on their radar, because one day you might need it. And again, the more users that are on this, the more people that know about it, the better it works, because basically these dots just fill up faster, okay? And finally, if you don't know about portalxswap.com, you need to bookmark this. portalxswap.io. portalxswap.io. Bookmark it. Make sure you know about this, because this is how you do cross-chain swaps, any coin, any chain, to any coin, any chain. What do I mean by that? Let's say I want to take some random coin on Avalanche, and I want to bridge it and swap it at the same time for, let's say, USDC on Ethereum. I can do that all in one click, rather than having to go through a bridge and go through a DEX and then go through a DEX on another chain and do all these approvals. It saves you a ton on gas fees and a ton on just complexity. And PulseChain is coming soon. So PulseChain will be an option on one of these 64 blockchains in the very, very near future. Look at all these blockchains that are supported. PortalX Swap, I believe, is what's going to plug in PulseChain to the entire crypto ecosystem. You guys got to really realize how big of a deal that is. There's 64 blockchains out there, and PortalX Swap, it's a multi-chain protocol. Multi-chain is behind it. Well, it's going to connect PulseChain to every single other chain, and it's going to be able to siphon buying power from every other chain. Essentially, all roads can now lead into PulseChain. You can go from any chain, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Avalanche, into PulseChain, right? And I really believe that's what's going to happen. Plus, there's a cool thing with the fees. A lot of the fees are going to get paid in PLS and divvied up to holders of the Power City coin, I guess. But this is how you're going to do cross-chain trading, and it abstracts all the complex stuff away. It makes it super easy for you to do. Limit orders as well, not just a swap, a limit order too. So you could say, I want to spend my USDT from Binance, and I want to buy, some other coin, but I want to wait until that coin costs only, 10 cents. And so I want to buy $10,000 of that when the coin is 10 cents. All right. And you could say, I want this to expire in 7 days or even longer. You could make it as many hours as you want. So if you don't know what limit orders are, you're basically just saying, hey, I want to buy X number of this coin, but only when it hits my limit, okay? Only when it hits a particular price that I say so. And I say so right here on PortalX Swap, right on this screen right here. And finally, revoke approvals, which is very cool. This is how you protect your wallet every time you connect to PortalX Swap. It's always a good idea to revoke approvals afterwards, just in case you became connected to any third-party decentralized apps that might get hacked one day or might be malicious. So you can revoke your approvals right immediately after you do your limit order or after you do your swap. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm really excited for PulseChain to be coming to this particular protocol. Make sure you keep your eye on this, all right? So those are some opportunities coming up to keep an eye on, but how are we going to make money on this chain? Well, a lot of people are wondering about liquidity providing, and to be honest with you, the only pairs that I'm really have my eye on liquidity providing right now are the PulseX PLS pair, which seems relatively safe to provide liquidity for now, and the HEX pair, okay? In the future, stablecoin pairs are also an attractive idea because if you pair, let's say DAI to USDC, well, stablecoins don't fluctuate in value too much, and what you want as a liquidity provider to make money is you want the ratio between the coins to stay as constant as you can, but you want the trading volume between the coins to be as maximum as possible. So you want two contradicting things to make money on liquidity providing. You want maximum volume, but minimum volatility. So stablecoin pairs are very exciting for that. You know, let's say DAI USDT or USDC USDT. These are attractive pairs because we know that the volatility is going to be very little because $1 should always be worth pretty much $1. But people like to switch their stablecoins all day long for various reasons. And so there's a lot of volume on those pairs typically. Now, with HEX, for example, what I want to personally wait for is I want to wait for the ratio between these two to stagnate, really to stagnate at around, hopefully 1-to-1 ratio. And once I see it stagnating at a 1-to-1 ratio, or maybe it'll be 1.1 to 1, I don't know. But if I see it stabilizing, like it kind of already is pretty stable, but I want it to be more stable. And once I see the volatility lowering on this pair, I'm going to consider strongly to provide liquidity for this pair because I anticipate that there will be enough volume for me to make a lot of money in transaction fees by liquidity providing for this particular pair. And finally, guys, the PulseX pair always seems to be pretty okay just because it's kind of range bound. So far, we've seen the range of the ratio go between 0.24 and 0.33, but it's kind of stabilizing between there. Now, I hope it does, but that's not a guarantee. And that's why, 90% of you out there, if none of this makes sense to you, you should probably skip over this and don't even worry about it. But if you understand liquidity providing, and if you don't, guys, I have a previous video, check that out. If you do understand it, those are the three trading pairs that I have my eye on when it comes to being a liquidity provider. PulseX, HEX, and stablecoin, whichever one that might be. But again, if this doesn't make sense, if it feels like I'm speaking Latin right now, just sit this one out. 90% of the time, people are better off just buying and holding the coins that they like instead of risking what's called impermanent loss on liquidity providing. And guys, I explain impermanent loss. Watch my previous videos. But let me say that one more time. 99% of the time, people are simply better off buying and holding the coins and watching the price go up rather than overcomplicating themselves with risky strategies. So the newer you are, the less you should be concerned with this until you've really learned enough to participate. Same thing with things like fiat, even Hurrycash, PortalX. PortalX is probably going to be the most noob friendly. Okay, PortalX is going to be the thing that the newbies are all going to use because it's going to make the user experience easier. But when I talk about a protocol like fiat, right, it's complicated. So I'm going to tell you up front that I don't think everybody should just rush into these protocols, but I do think everybody should do their best to learn about these things because these are going to be truly game changers when it comes to the popularity of PulseChain and pumping the prices on all these tokens. And guys, if you're new to cryptocurrency, if you're brand new, you just got here, you're wondering who to follow on Twitter, obviously go follow Richard Hart, right? Obviously make sure you follow this guy, put on notifications for him. He's going to tell you about all the latest and greatest developments in the PulseChain ecosystem first, before anyone else. But when it comes to other people to follow, KDP Crypto, amazing person to follow. She's always very quick to give you the latest and greatest on, look, we've got a Coin Paprika listing. Look, we're listed on CoinGecko. I mean, she's the one that's going to give you the good news and the hopium directly into your veins. Not only her, but also Hvid HEX, HVIID HEX, okay? This woman is providing valuable information as well. Set notifications for these two people. There's plenty of other people to follow, guys. There's so many of us in the ecosystem. I'm just saying that if you want to get news quickly on Twitter, This is how you're going to know about the latest and greatest. Look, we just got listed on CoinMarketCap. I just learned that right now. That's amazing. I'm always learning, right? Our price is now on CoinMarketCap. Our price is on CoinGecko. Guys, we're on a bunch of other stuff too. DeFi Llama just listed us. TrustSwap just listed PulseChain. They're a launch pad that's got 4.7 million users. Okay, everybody wants to get a piece of the PulseChain action. The gates are opening. There's no more gatekeeping. And if there is, well, it's just sad at this point. If you're trying to gatekeep the world's #1 crypto launch, it's just sad for you, really, that you're not going to be able to have the opportunity that we all have on the table. I mean, there's centralized exchange listings that I could talk about. We're listed on 3 centralized exchanges, but guys, who cares about centralized exchanges? You don't want to be using those anyway. They're the opposite of why crypto was invented. Crypto was invented to get rid of middlemen, and centralized exchanges are middlemen. So you're giving your money back to the very middlemen crypto was invented to get rid of. And did you guys forget about FTX already? Come on. You shouldn't be using centralized exchanges. I know it's a bit more complex to do everything trustlessly and to go through things like pulseramp.com or soon portalx.com. It's a little more complicated, but it's not the end of the world. And if you learn how to use blockchain technology, you'll be a lot safer from scummy centralized exchanges that could potentially steal or just accidentally lose all your money like they do time and time again. So, hey, if you like centralized exchange listings, we've got 3 of them already, but I'm not even going to tell you what they are because I don't want people to use them. Very simple. So what do you think, guys? Are you bullish? Are you not? Are you still a doubter? How long will it take before you become comfortable with PulseChain? What's it going to take for you to admit that we're here to change the game permanently, guys? PulseRamp bridged in $10 million within 45 minutes. There's too much demand trying to get into PulseChain, slowing down the bridge. $100 million of liquidity coming soon, either liquidity or buy pressure. We don't know what they're going to do. And currently ranked 4, right? Ranked 4 in terms of on-chain activity, both volume and number of transactions. I think you guys know where I stand on this. It's pretty obvious from the tone of my voice, right? But what do you think? Do you want to participate in the greatest wealth transfer in human history, in the greatest launch that crypto's ever experienced, probably since the launch of Ethereum itself? Or do you want to sit on the sidelines and just watch while everyone else is having fun? The choice is completely up to you. But be careful out there, guys. You know, you don't have to do all these complicated strategies. Again, I'll finish with buying and holding is really what gets people rich in crypto. Holding long term and buying and being patient is what gets people rich. So just chill, watch, sit back, enjoy the ride, grab your popcorn and enjoy the prices going up and down, all the new innovations being made. It's wonderful to see. Guys, if you got any value out of this, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Leave a comment, share the video with people that have to know about this. The more we can educate other people, guys, it takes you 5 seconds to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And that helps pump your bags too. That all helps HEX and PulseChain go viral. And it takes you maybe less than a minute to do all that. Like, subscribe, share, comment. And it's great for the algorithm. It's great for your own bags. And really the more people that know about this, that's what's going to pump the price. That's what it really all comes down to, is adoption, onboarding, and user experience. Making it easier for people to buy, portalxswap.io, and telling more people about it, getting the word out. So sharing this video, giving people the real on-chain data, the real metrics that can't be lied about, the real prices, and letting people know what's really going on. All right. So I hope you learned something. Again, like, subscribe, share, comment, pump your own bags, and I'll see you on the next video.